Hey guys, welcome to Punky's World. Okay, this is our genealogy video. Obviously, I've looked through the other books to some degree, just not through the new book, which is about brick walls. So, we also have some more Evertons coming. That's what these are. The magazine itself has been out since 1947, but it also the gentleman who put it together has been doing it since the early 1900s. So, here are some things I found that I wanted to share with you guys. This first thing I already knew. There are name variations and nicknames. Okay, everybody knows what a nickname is. My father's name was Robert, or Bobby to his family, which I guess is technically a nickname, but most people called him Willie. Well, in the census, he's not going to be listed as Willie. Well, since the 2000 census that our landlady did, not realizing his name. Although he wrote the rent check. She should have known his name. Anyway. But there are variations of names. I think most of us are aware of that in terms of first names. Like I said, Robert could be Robbie, Bobby, Rob, Bob. Richard could be Rich, Rick, Richie, Rich. So it just depends. It's the last names that are more difficult. If you have people that came over from Europe, they might have changed their names. Even from Canada, they might have changed their names. Or census takers and other documentarians, I don't know how else to put it, might have misspelled names because they spelled them phonetically. Which I guess they're not allowing kids to do now. They want them to look at pictures. So basically you want kids to be illiterate. Look at a picture of a cat, but don't sound out cat. Really? Anyway, that's for another time. I digress, but that's irritating to me. Several states have banned that form of education. But anyway, name variants, like I said. There could be simply whoever was documenting the person, whether it was on a census record or any other kind of record, may have spelled it phonetically or may have misunderstood an accent. There are a lot of reasons. They didn't, a lot of people will say, well, it got changed to Ellis Island. They didn't purposefully or change when they came into the country. It wasn't done purposefully, usually. Sometimes people would change their names. They would anglicize their names, make them sound more American, British, If they were coming in from a place like Italy, they did that. My French family actually did that. So half the records, and that's something to keep in mind, half the records in my French family are the English translation of the name and half are the actual name. The name is Boisvert, which looks like Boisvert, Boisvert. We just always pronounced it phonetically Boisvert. It's technically Boisvert, as my aunt will tell you. Not related to that side, but also a Frenchman. And in English, that translates to Greenwood. And so on some records, like my great-great-grandmother's second marriage record, junk, she's listed as Greenwood. Which is weird because she basically spoke French. So you wouldn't think she would be listed that way. And the local funeral home was able to tell me that not only is Boulevard Greenwood in English, but Coudemarche or Coudemarche is short sleeves. Which I found interesting because we had a local news guy, the Boston channel, whose name was Short Sleeves. So I found that interesting. And newspapers have always been important to genealogists as well. But like I said, if you, again, you don't know how they're going to spell the name. And you also have to remember something. In things like newspapers, women they lose their autonomy, their individuality, because they get married. And now, instead of my great-grandmother being Parmelia Bordeaux, she loses individuality. That's what I'm thinking. She loses her individuality the day she says I do and becomes Mrs. David Hemingway. And sometimes obituaries will have it written that way. Or I love it when I'm looking at a parent's obituary and they're doing the names of the children, and they'll do like a daughter and son-in-law, and it's Mr. and Mrs. James Townley with parentheses and the first name of the daughter. You know, it's like, okay. So, next thing on my list is the blank forms. These forms are pretty amazing. You definitely would want to... Where is that form that's falling out of here? These are example forms. There are a lot of example forms. Anyway, trying to find the... Okay. You even have a U.S. map where you can mark where people are from or where they live. These are census records. Now this has film roll and whatever on the end, but in actuality, that's kind of outdated now because unless you go to the National Archives, you're not using microfilm. You're using the computer to look up the census records. So then you have military record checklist. There's a piece of paper in here that I threw back in here because it fell out. This one? No. That's just showing you how to do a family group sheet, which is the most... Oh yeah, okay. It is this one. This is the most basic form that you can do, the family group sheet. Basically, you write the parents' names, family group sheet of the, let's just say, Smith family. Yes, I know a Smith family. Father and mother, the children, and you can write the sources of the children, like, do you have their birth records, things like that. And they have room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 children. However, on the back you can put more children. Even down here where it says notes, you can add more children. Because believe me, back in the day, there were plenty of families where you needed to add more children. This is interesting. This is biographical outline. Basically, you're writing, like I should do this for patients. Approximately when they were born, and events in their life. To try to keep everything. I may do that, actually. And these are family trees. These are very basic family trees. Again, they have no room on the back of them. This is an Appentil chart. Oh, this one's out too. I'll show you what that is. An Appentil chart is it's a unique chart. That's more family group sheets. It's one-stop shopping. Basically, it's where you can go up to your 4th grade grandparents in a list. And it's done direct descendant to direct descendant. So I would start with my parents, and then I would go on either side and do my grandparents, my great-grandparents, great-great, like I said, all the way up to 4th grade. And it's a way to look. I have some of these filled out by my mother, without having her handwriting around. These were already taken out of the book, which is fine. They're supposed to be. Now, because this is so old, it only goes up to the 1920 census in the census worksheets. Now, some of these census are harder to deal with, like 1870 is not too bad. The ones before that, 1830, 1790, there were all census that are hard to, because they didn't ask very many questions. We also have deed abstracts, which, family homes and stuff like that. You can do an alphabetical list of ancestors and where they're from. Index to workshops and handouts, yeah. Probably use that for something else, and that's a SoundX search, which is the census, searched by sound. And these are marriage indexes, which my mother actually made, deed indexes. There's all sorts of things. Research planning worksheet. This worksheet, you basically write your brick wall, your questions regarding your brick wall, what sources you're going to look up, and what the results were on those sources. I know it's so hard to see, but I promise you it's there. Military record checklist, which wars are you looking for, things like that. And there's some other showing you how to fill it all out and stuff. There's maps, so you can mark the places where people live, which I think I'm going to do. Is there only one map in here? No, there's a few. Good. There's at least a couple. Yep. And here's another kind of family group sheet. It's a little bit different. It's got all the information of mom and dad, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 kids, plus more room on the back for more kids. Actually, There's another page for more kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay, there's 2 pages. That's what this was. This was the continuation. This is the first page. And then this is the continuation page, because people had a lot of kids back then. So there had to be plenty of room for children. And they're just showing you examples of writing in the information. So next up, sorry about my hair. They have Cindy's list in the, where's the newer one? This is the newer one. Look at this. They still have Cindy's list. Her website's been around forever. And it's still there, and it's still good to use. I will link it. Australian church record URLs that I found that I hope still work. And there's one called Ancestor Spy, which I hope still works. Like I said, these are old, so. But I will link what I can in the description. But yeah, I think that I'm pretty sure that my mother and I had this workbook. Pretty sure we got this workbook at Barnes & Noble. I don't know what happened to it. I still have papers from it. Or is it from a different one? So yeah, these were already popped out. She didn't have to put them back in. I mean, there's plenty of copies in there. And like I said, you make copies, and I'll keep these to make copies on the copy machine. So, yeah. So we've had some fun today and last night, because the first video was made last night. Because I got a text saying, not a text, an email saying that my tree service here, built to order was in, so we did that last night. So, thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you tomorrow.